Hello everyone, welcome back for video 5 of function operations. In this video, we are going to look at division. Now, I'm sure we all remember who we got here. Function f, 3x squared minus 5x plus 6, and function g, 8x minus 7. So, when we talk about division in this video, we aren't actually going to be dividing any polynomials or any functions. We will learn how to divide them at some point, but that will not be in this video. It's a little more advanced than what we're doing now. So we are going to do the very basics in terms of division of functions. And when I mean the basics, all we're really going to do is write it as a fraction and then just one little thing after that. So just like before, we can see function written or division written two different ways. Here we have f divided by g of x, or you can see it as f of x divided by g of x. It's the same idea. Now you'll notice down here it says where g of x does not equal to 0. So that's like the second thing we're going to look at, and we'll talk about that after we do the first thing. So first things first, we basically are just going to write this as a fraction. Again, with the first 4 videos, the first thing I like to do is write the functions as they appear in both where they're listed and in the notation on what operation we're using. So I'm just going to take f of x, which is 3x squared minus 5x plus 6, and I'm going to write that as a fraction or divide it by 8x minus 7. Now you notice I didn't use parentheses. This is the first time I've not done that. And basically that's because anytime you have a fraction, there's kind of an unspoken set of parentheses in both the numerator and the denominator. All right, so this gives us what we're looking for, which is f divided by g of x. Okay, now, where g of x does not equal 0. So those of you who don't remember, one of the main rules of math, which is a big no-no, is you cannot divide by 0. In this case, we're dividing by g of x. That's what's in the denominator. So that cannot be equal to 0. If that's equal to 0, it's going to be undefined. So we have to make sure that 1, it's mentioned here, and 2, we actually find the value of x that would make us divide by 0. And we want to say, hey, that's not part of our domain. That can't be a value that we use here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the denominator, in this case function g, and we are going to set it not equal to 0. So 8x minus 7 cannot equal 0. And this is the not equal to sign where it's basically an equal sign with a little slash through it. So what we're going to do now is once we have it set not equal to 0, we'll solve for x, and that'll be the thing that we want to mention as not being in our domain. So solving for x, we're going to get x by itself by undoing the things that are happening to it. We're subtracting by 7, so the opposite of that is adding both sides by 7. And then we're also going to divide both sides by 8. So that we get x does not equal 7/8. Right? We want to divide by 8 because 8 is being multiplied by x. So the way to undo that is dividing by 8. And 8 divided by 8 gives us 1x or just x. Okay, great. So over here, I might want to make a mention of it. X cannot equal 7/8. And that will be our answer.